Oh, man, we're doing it. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good day, or good Tuesday. I suppose we can do that. What's up, Karen? You're first. Congratulations. Howdy, Shannon. I hope everyone is doing well. Good morning, Misanthropic Cat. That's an awesome YouTube handle. And good morning. Hi, Shannon. 2 Shannons right in a row like that. Look at that. What's up, Joshua? Good to see you. What's up, Statutory? What's up, Susan Brown? Hi, Annabelle. What's up, Kalida? Or Kalida? However you say it. Hope everyone is well. I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to the gym as soon as this stream is over, because I got a busy afternoon / evening. Just got back from a breakfast with Bernie, Shannon. That's really interesting. How was it? What's up, Edwin? What's up, Emma? Statutory's hungover. What's up, Joe? What's up, Steve? Steve says, morning, Ron. Hope the coffee is strong and brown like my wife. Steve's wife is a very nice lady. I had the pleasure of meeting both of them. I've met both of them before. They are wonderful, wonderful people. And Steve, yes, my coffee is brown and strong. What's up, Roger? Thank you very much for the kind words. What's up, RC? What's up, Farhad? Sean, good morning, Ron. Just having my post-lunch smoke. Now I can get stoned and learn from an amazing guy. I'm guessing Sean's in school. I think that's what he means by that. Balthazar, hi, Ron. I like my coffee like I like my donations. Tracked by Freezer. I know, I gotta look into Streamlabs. Balthazar, you are consistent. In fact, if you're looking for, you can be my agent. I could use somebody like you. I really could. Guys, we are over 30. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. That means you guys send me stuff, and then that's how we build the show. I'm seeing everything for the first time. There's a lot of fun stuff in the news. $27. What's up from Scotland? Good to see ya. I miss Scotland dearly. I got engaged in your fine country. What's up, Matthew? What's up, Lori? Good to see everybody. All right. Let's go to it. First of all, so this article is a couple days old, but I really like it. I just really enjoyed it. So even though there's some stuff that's just as recent, I think the premise of it is still the same, in that we're waiting to see what creepy Uncle Joe is gonna do. But here's a fun one that Time Magazine assembled. Joe Biden will announce his presidential campaign next week, unless he doesn't, but he probably will. Former Vice President Joe Biden has recorded a video near his childhood home that will launch the third attempt at the Democratic presidential nomination in his long career. Now, his first attempt to make the video, he actually did it with his own cell phone, but he kept screwing it up, having the video facing the other direction, and kept saying, these damn millennials and their technology. So finally, they just hired a crew for him. That's what went down. All right. Things, as one Biden advisor dryly put it, are fluid. Man, it almost sounds like, okay, so the leading option is for a post-video rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, where a demonstration by white supremacists left one dead and earned President Trump's tacit endorsement when he said there were good people in the crowd. Another option is in Delaware, a state he represented in the Senate from 1972. Okay. I also heard Pittsburgh might be in the mix. We'll see. Here we go. Here's why I wanted to focus on this article. Check this out. This is what... And by the way, this is not from The Onion. Check it out. This is from Time. This is from Time Magazine. This is a real article. Here's my favorite quote. I've never seen anything so half-assed, a former Biden aide said. They're improvising and doing last-minute planning. The guy has been running for president since 1987 and can't figure the basics out, like where to stand on his first day. This should make everyone very nervous. Added a second Biden insider. The guy's best day is the day he announces. Everything after that gets worse. Biden responded saying, "Give me a break. I have no sympathy for you. P.S. Where am I going to do my video? I don't know." Look at that enthusiasm from the camp already. They're either putting things dryly or they're a former aide who left altogether and saying, "This is the shittiest thing I've ever seen." Biden, already fallen apart at the seams, already involved in several scandals. Where's he going to make his announcement? Do you guys think Charlottesville? Do you guys think Delaware? Do you guys think Pennsylvania? If so, Philadelphia or Pittsburgh? I know he's going to Pittsburgh. I saw that in the local news in my old hometown. So where do you guys think he's going to go? Let me see if there's more to this article. The political environment hasn't become friendlier for Biden in the intervening years. A rise of far-left activism has given hope to candidates like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. They finally realized political power of African Americans, especially female African Americans in the Democratic primary, is helping candidates like Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, and would-be contenders like Stacey Abrams, credibility in seeking the nomination. And the desire for something other than a straight white man is opening doors for the likes of Kirsten Gillibrand, Pete Buttigieg, and Julian Castro. But Biden advisors sees a pathway to the nomination via middle-of-the-road, pragmatic yet progressive policies. Biden is an unrivaled connector to white working-class voters, who he's thrown over the bus time and time again. The working class, the people he's thrown under the bus time and time again. You know what Biden wants to do? He wants to cut Social Security and Medicaid. That's what Biden wants to do. He wants to cut those things. He wrote the Patriot Act. That's what Biden did. He deregulated the banks with Barack Obama. That's what Biden did. Working class voters, they connect with this guy. He loves NAFTA, loves the TPP. Working class voters, they connect with this guy. He's offered them nothing for years. He brags about taking big donations. All right. Still, Biden's odds are far from certain. Women have come forward to say his habit of invading personal space made them feel uncomfortable. Biden has since issued a bullshit apology. Hey, boys will be boys. His apology was just ridiculous. Like, I don't think I did anything wrong, but I guess times changed. Creepy Uncle Joe. Might announce this week, might announce next week. Might not announce, but I have a feeling he's going to. And the Democratic clown car will become 21 deep. Why? So they can get to that second ballot, baby, and the superdelegates can come in and kneecap the progressives. That's what's going to happen. That's what they want to see happen. And unless progressives are so loud and united that they can't be cheated in the first round, it's going to go to a second round. Superdelegates are going to go for the centrist. That centrist is going to go on to lose to Donald Trump. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. And Creepy Uncle Joe doing his part. Because Creepy Uncle Joe knows he isn't going to be president. He knows that. All right. I think that's all the time he warrants. But what's going on over in the GOP side of things? Well, turns out this was breaking this morning and was trending on the Twitters. In New Hampshire, Maryland Governor Larry Hogan says he's seriously considering a primary challenge to Trump to get his name out there. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said Tuesday he is seriously considering a primary challenge to President Trump, adding that the only reason Trump is not facing obstruction charges is that aides thwarted the president. Hogan criticized fellow Republicans in Congress and state houses across the country for not speaking out in the wake of special counsel Robert S. Mueller's report, which he called very disturbing and unsavory. It's because they're afraid, Hogan told reporters. There's no profiles and courage here. They're afraid of being primaried. They're afraid of being tweeted about. They're scared he's going to tweet about them. They're scared that every time Donald Trump trolls somebody on Twitter, it helps them. You realize that, right? Every single time, it helps the person. Because he's the president, arguably the most powerful position in the world. When somebody really powerful goes after somebody smaller, on Twitter especially, it helps them. Look at what Adam Schiff's done. Adam Schiff's made a career out of just saying Trump's bad. It's morally repulsive what he's doing. He's preying upon the hopes of people who are being genuinely hurt by this administration. He's preying on their hopes because he's nothing more than an opportunist who is padding his pockets via people who are desperate. But anyway, as far as political celebrity goes, if you're in the GOP, Trump trolling you is the best thing that could happen for your career. This Larry Hogan guy actually sees that. He's like, people are scared of being tweeted about. Well, apparently he's not. And this is going to help him. All right, but let's go on in this article. All right, so Hogan's willingness to draw the president's ire comes as he continues to weigh an insurgent primary challenge backed by the Never Trump wing of the GOP. Who is that, by the way? Who is the Never Trump wing of the GOP? Trump is a Republican minus subtlety. That's all he is. Policy-wise, he is no different than any Republican. And it's important we keep screaming that from the mountaintop so people realize how repulsive the Republicans actually are. They are repulsive beyond comprehension. And the only reason they're able to exist is because there's no real opposition to them. We have a fringe right-wing party and a center right-wing party, and we're supposed to choose between those two horrible choices. And we have this because our democracy, in quotes, democracy, is up for sale to the highest bidder. So we really only have one party, it's the money party, and it has two wings, the Democrats and the Republicans. One party that comes up with horrible ideas, another party that comes up with no ideas but helps the horrible party sometimes. I mean, Noam Chomsky says the Republican Party is one of the greatest threats to humanity today. And I don't know if there's anything as repulsive as the Republican Party in any other polis that isn't a straight-up authoritarian regime. I don't think there is. I really don't think there is. I mean, looking at comparable countries, I don't think... I mean, there are some fringe right-wing parties in other democratic or pseudo-democratic experiments around the world, but they're not one of two parties. There's more parties. So it's not like they don't have the power that the Republican Party has. And in some countries, I mean, looking at England as a for instance, the Tories are to the left of the Democrats on a lot of issues. That's their right-wing party. In a lot of other democratic experiments, their right-wing party is to the left of our supposed left-wing party. So when I say, I don't know if there's anything... I mean, I know there's some fringe horrible parties out there in different countries, but they're not one of two. You know what I mean? So, I don't know if there's anything as repulsive and big as the Republican Party in any other democratic experiment. So what is this Never Trump wing? The GOP got behind Trump. They took it. All right, but anyway. All right, so here's more in this article. All right, the Never Trump wing of the GOP, which I guess that's a thing. According to this article from the Washington Post, Democracy Dies in Darkness, they're doing what they can to help. That's a thing. I have no evidence of that being a thing. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who identify as Republicans that didn't vote for Trump. I'm sure that's real. But to take it a step further and say there is this Never Trump wing, I know there is a Never Bernie wing in the Democrats. There are some people in the Democratic establishment who have made it clear they'd rather lose to Trump again than give Bernie a shot. That's real. There was also the people who dem exited because of what happened in 2016. That's a real movement. Or the people who just realized we got to break up this duopoly, who never felt part of any political party, but now realize that it's even more broken than they realized. I said realized a lot in that sentence, didn't I? But anyway, all right, so this article says it's a thing. We'll entertain the notion that it's real. I don't know. All right, so the governor said he's been approached by a lot of people and a growing number of people. That's good. It's a lot, keeps getting more. Since it's January, right, getting into the race, blah, blah, blah. He was coy about what he would do there. Well, I guess he would run, right? I mean, isn't that what he would do? If he's planning on running, he would just run. All right. He added, though, that he was not going to launch a suicide mission and saw no urgency in getting into the race before the fall. A shorter field will be better for someone who doesn't have a lot of money, he said. I don't feel any rush to get in. That's, man, I'm sure he believes he has a shot with statements like that. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not in a hurry. Man, I don't. All right. That's, man, isn't that the ear of confidence? Isn't that like, hey, you're going to apply for this job? I don't really have, I got to raise money to try to get this job. I don't have a lot of it, and I'm just not in a hurry. Wouldn't you want to be, this person's going to get it. That's the go-getter attitude that we need. Just the like, I'm not, hey, this job, you want to apply for, let's put money aside. Hey, you want to apply for this job? I'm not in a hurry. I don't, let the other applicants, let's see what, I don't really want to do an interview. Job interviews, they're boring. I don't know what I'd say either. I don't even know if I'm qualified for this fucking thing, quite frankly. I just don't like the current guy that's there. Yeah, I don't know. That's his campaign. Larry Hogan, I don't know. We're not in a hurry. Rich people, you still okay? All right, we're good. That should be, yeah. This guy's serious about it, it sounds like. All right, so, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Mueller, all right. His national profile has risen in recent months. Well, that's why he's doing this. The popular governor has sharpened his criticism of the president's tone and temperament. Again, nothing here about policies. Nothing. You know why? Because Trump is the same as everyone else in the GOP. He just talks meaner. I'd rather have it be Trump who's running against a progressive in 2020, because I think that progressive could beat him. That's what I'd rather have. If we throw up a centrist against Trump, Trump's going to win. And I don't see Trump getting primaried out. I also don't entertain this fantasy that Trump is different from the GOP. He's not. He's despicable. He's repulsive at every level, just like the GOP. He just lacks subtlety. He's unmasking them. Not on purpose. Not on purpose. I know there's some people out there that entertain some fantasy that Trump is Andy Kaufman, who's actually trying to save our country. He's not. He's not. That's a hell of a fantasy you got going on. That's a hell of a fantasy that some plutocrat who has been rich his entire life through no work of his own, who has always been on the insiders club, is somehow going to be some rogue outsider trying to fix our broken system. That's a really interesting fantasy. But it is exactly that, a fantasy. All right, I think that's it. I mean, what more? Oh, and by the way, there's a typo. Wait, I can't find that. There was a typo. Whatever. I missed it. All right. There's a typo in like the heading of the article, but then it's not in the actual article itself, which means they probably fixed it. All right. Touché, Washington Post. Touché. All right, let's move on. So, let's do some really shitty news. This is, pretty freaking sad. Long Beach shares this. And I don't know what else. I haven't read through it yet, but I have a feeling like it's just going to be sad. All right, so let's get sad. You guys ready to get sad? Buckle in. Sad time. Boom. Mental health catastrophe. Few options for residents as care homes close. Remember when Reagan did this and it turned out horrible? Well, history is repeating itself. This summer, Tom Gray will lose his home. A slim man with hunched shoulders and a halting voice. Gray, 72, has schizophrenia. Before he landed in Carmen Palarca's board and care home 11 years ago, he spent 20 years living on the streets. Many of them huddled in a doorway across from a San Francisco Whole Foods. I feel kind of sad and worried, Gray said quietly, sitting in the home's small kitchen. He hadn't yet received official notice from Palarca of her plans to close, but knew it was likely. The planned closure of yet another board and care home. There are no reliable statewide data on the decrease of homes serving the specific population, but since 2012, San Francisco has lost more than a third of licensed residential facilities that serve people under 60 and more than a quarter of those serving older clients. Much of the decline has been in small, home-like facilities like Palarca's, which provide food, laundry, and medication help, and are more likely to accept low-income people with mental illnesses. Los Angeles, which has a large portion of the state's board and cares, has lost more than 200 beds for low-income people with serious mental illness in the past year. Advocates say the state needs to collect better data. If legislators don't get into this, we're in big trouble. The housing crisis has placed those concerned about board and care residents with mental illness in a strange predicament. Many now find themselves advocating for facilities they consider to be of poor quality and outmoded. That's because the alternatives they see, homelessness, incarceration, long-term placement in nursing homes or locked facilities, are worse. So imagine if we had something like a public bank where we could pump money into stuff like this instead of giving it to Wells Fargo or some other for-profit institution each year. All the money that residents pay to them, residents could be pumping into a local bank, which could help them out directly and could also help other services in the city. Imagine if we did something about our housing crisis in general that would make facilities like this more easier to maintain. Like grandfathering these organizations in at a decent rent, subsidizing more subsidization more. Subsidization, I don't think that's the word. But more and more things are closing. And we talk about when Reagan did this initially, when Reagan essentially created Skid Row. We look on that as such a horrible moment in our society, and such a horrible thing that we did, just turning away all these people who needed help. And we haven't learned from that, and we're still doing it. It's still happening. In fact, this is, I think the economist Richard Wolff said this is pumped up Reaganomics. I'm paraphrasing him, but we're living under pumped up Reaganomics. It's even worse than it was back then. And Mel Tel-Karabne is a really amazing activist in the Los Angeles area, and he does a ton for homelessness. Every city could use somebody like him. He does amazing programs. He's been on the show before. He'll be on again. And the reason he started doing what he does is because he came to the United States from a different country, came to Los Angeles, drove through Skid Row, and couldn't believe what he was seeing. It blew his mind that there were people living this way. And it's something we just accept as reality in the United States. It's something we just accept as reality, especially in Los Angeles. There are tent cities in every neighborhood in Los Angeles. I live in the area. I can tell you. These people that, it's just Skid Row. No, it's not. Even if it was just Skid Row, it's still completely unacceptable. But it's everywhere. I go by homeless camps on my way to my gym. I used to have a homeless in my old apartment complex. There was a homeless tent city. I'm sure it's still there. I just don't live in that apartment anymore, but I'm sure it's still there. And we just accept it as reality. And then sometimes when people see this, it just blows their freaking mind. And what are we doing? We're continuing to turn away people who need help. In California, the 5th largest GDP in the world. And we can't help people with mental health issues who can't be on their own, who need assistance. We can't help them. We can't get a rail line from San Francisco to San Diego. We can't give everybody health care. 5th largest GDP in the world. Countries poorer than the state of California have better services for people, have better health services, give everybody health care. Provide housing and support for people who suffer from schizophrenia. But we can't do it in California. We're supposed to be a blue utopia, too, by the way. We're supposed to be the progressive bubble in the United States. California's not. They're victim to the same neoliberalism, to the same surrender to corporations. And that's going on in other quote-unquote blue dots, too. That goes on in Portland, Oregon. That goes on in Seattle, Washington. That goes on in New York City. Andrew Cuomo, the supposed progressive, screws over the homeless in New York City. This is what happens when you have an Overton window shifted so far to the right. It's unbelievable. And you just keep voting for the lesser of two evils. And this is why we need to mobilize in our communities. We need to mobilize in our communities and start getting active and start alliances for causes, start initiatives, get people who are taking on causes, get people who are working on getting ballot initiatives on the local ballots, and get people who are also running for office at the local level. That's the only way we're going to start turning this around. It has to happen in our backyards. It's not going to happen from the top to the bottom. It's going to happen from the bottom up. So that's a sad story. That's just really sad. What else can you say? That's just really sad. But speaking of people being active in their communities, here's somebody who's, man, this is the kind of local activism we need, he said incredibly sarcastically. Alleged leader of border militia facing federal firearms charges in New Mexico. All right, so that's this guy. That's this dude, Larry Mitchell Hopkins. All right, so the alleged leader of an armed militia group that has intercepted and detained migrant families along the southern border in New Mexico was charged with federal firearms offenses on Monday. Larry Mitchell Hopkins, 69 years old, of Flora Vista, New Mexico, appeared in federal court in Las Cruces after his arrest on Saturday. Criminal complaint filed by the FBI states that Hopkins, also known as Johnny Horton Jr., was in possession of 9 firearms and ammunition. Hopkins' arrest is not tied to his involvement with the border militia. So here's what his militia, who this isn't even why he was arrested, by the way, here's what they were doing. It's a group of armed villains, same thing in their case. It's a group of armed villains, often dressed in military fatigue. They've been camped out in Sunland Park, New Mexico, which is a small community very close to the U.S.-Mexico border, and they've been stopping migrant families that they're encountering crossing the border who are trying to come into the U.S. to claim asylum. They've been stopping these families, telling them to sit on the ground, and then calling Border Patrol. And then Border Patrol comes in and apprehends those families. Hopkins' attorney says that the militia group believes that it's aiding an overstretched Border Patrol. A spokesman for Customs and Border Protection in an emailed statement said, U.S. Customs and Border Protection does not endorse or condone private groups or organizations taking enforcement matters into their own hands. Interference by civilians in law enforcement matters could have public safety and legal consequences for all parties involved. But when they call, we show up. Oh, we don't endorse this, but when they call, we show up. When they brutalize families, we show up and help. Good job. This is a 69-year-old man, and he thinks this is a good use of his time to brutalize people, desperate people coming to the border for help, to brutalize them, to terrify them, and to call Border Patrol on them so that they can be separated and put into cages. This guy, 69 years old. Those are his golden years. He thinks this is a good way to spend them. Having 9 guns to brutalize desperate families, children, and families. That's how this guy spends his time. That's Tuesday for this dude. Think of the last story we just did. They're throwing mentally ill people are being thrown out on the streets. There is a homeless epidemic in this country. It's in New Mexico too, by the way. We have a homeless epidemic. Our internet, our free and open internet, is being threatened on a daily basis. There's hungry people. There's a housing crisis. There's a bogus drug war. So many causes one could take up in their community. So many causes. And this guy, he wants to brutalize people coming to the border. Wow. Wow. All right. We got something a little positive. Then I'm gonna go to you guys. This is kind of fun and interesting. This will be a fun and interesting story to end the show today. A Topshop launches its first vegan shoe line. The shoes include a little button that you push, like those pump shoes, and when you push it, the shoes tell you that they're vegan. That's how you know they're vegan shoes. You push the button and it goes, "Excuse me, I'm vegan." Then you push another button and it goes, "Can I see the vegan menu?" All right, so let's explore these vegan shoes. High street chain Topshop has unveiled its inaugural vegan shoe collection, handmade in Spain from materials that are free from animal products. That's cool. The line, which is approved by PETA, launched globally yesterday and consists of 6 designs made from 100% non-animal and non-fish glue. In addition, each pair of shoes will be packaged in a box assembled using 100% vegan material, says Topshop, which is owned by Arcadia Group. My question, though, are they packaged by real vegans? What if somebody is packaging those shoes and they have the meat sweats? Defeats the purpose. You sniff them, you're like, this person ate cow. I can tell. I'm returning these. And then you push the button and it's like, but I'm vegan. Don't return me. All right. Okay, so here's how much these shoes cost. The collection is priced from $75 to $100 in the U.S. That's a little pricey, but that's not crazy. Although these shoes do not have. All right, so is it just this stuff? These are just like sandals that I'm seeing. I can't wear shoes that don't have a ton of ankle support. I need a lot of ankle support in my shoes. I think it's from years. I used to wear Chuck Taylors like everybody used to when they were young. I had a pair of Chucks and I skateboarded. The ironic thing is Chucks were not ideal shoes to go skateboarding in because they had no ankle support. Even the ones that had a little backing, because some of them just didn't even go up past your ankle. Some of them were a little higher, but it was a very soft support. They weren't good but you would skateboard in them anyway. And I think after all the years of doing that, I got to the point where I was like, I need some solid ankle support in a shoe. So I don't know if there's I would totally consider, I am vegan myself. And, I would totally consider a pair of vegan shoes. Why not? Do what I can. But if it's just those sandal type things, I'm sorry. I need more ankle support than that. And also I do insist on having a button where you push it and it goes, "I am vegan shoes." That's a quirk of the shoes. They let you know. They tell you they're vegan. So there you go. Topshop launching some vegan shoes. If you want to do your thing, buy some vegan shoes, go for it. If that's not your thing, that's okay too. All right, I'm gonna go to you guys and see what you're saying, and then we're gonna dismount today's show. It's ending a little bit earlier because I got a big afternoon. All right, let me see what you guys are saying. Platypus, Ron and friends, guess what? I am on the ballot paper for the Australian Federal House of Representatives. I'm running for the Australian Progressives. Platypus, first of all, thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Second of all, congratulations. That's awesome, Platypus. If you have please share a website so we can look at your campaign. Please share it with us. Congratulations, and please share it with us in a future stream. Let's see here. Matthew says the vegan shoes would look great with my gluten-free hat. I have a T-shirt who is on the Whole30. That's what I have. Skateboarding and snowboarding did more damage to my legs than falling 18 foot off a roof and landing on the concrete. Damn, Slow News Days. That's brutal. Statutory Chuck Taylors are horrible. You know, they have a special place in my childhood. They have a special place in my heart, but I certainly can't wear them anymore. Chip recommends a brand of vegan guitar straps. Cool. Interesting. Thanks, Chips. I appreciate that. Really pricey. Don't think my wife's getting any, says Barango. I just can't do sandals. But, hey, if it's for you, check it out. If it's not for you, cool. Let's see here. I approve of these shoes. We need to move away from exploiting animals. Not only is it cruel, it's a dead end for us. Right on. You should get a pair. Topshop makes them. Grab a pair. Let me know if they have good ankle support. Let's see. A lot of you guys are hating on the Chuck Taylors. Hey, man, it has a special place in my heart. Bernie is the only Dem candidate in decades who has spoken to rural America. He will win in states that were unwinnable, according to Dem strategists. I agree, Chris. I think Tulsi does a good job at doing that, too. Let's see. Oh, Platypus shares her Twitter to start. Platypus, you need to, once you get that official website, make sure you share it with us. Chips is going to go by Topshop, give us a report. That's cool. And I applaud them for doing this. I'm not, I made a couple jokes about it, but, I poke fun at vegans. I am a vegan myself, and I poke fun at myself, and, that's how it goes. Tim says, I drop extra skin and hair into vegan meals and then scream as they devour me. Oh, that's kind of funny. And it's not, is it vegan hair? That's the big question. Let's see. Not applicable. Been vegetarian for about 3 days now. Wish me luck. I'll say this. I went vegan for, and we've talked about diets on the show. And I went vegan recently, and I wanted to try it for 30 days. I tried it for 30 days, and I really liked it. So I continued it. And, but, I think people got to do what's right for them. I don't shame anybody. I'm happy to share my experiences and share my perspective, but it is only that. It is my experience and my perspective. Some people aren't able to do something like go vegan because they can't break down the enzymes of food that isn't meat. That is a real thing. So, I'm very careful not to shame anybody. But I'm happy to share my experience. And, Slow News Day says, your bit about being vegan is hilarious. Thank you, Slow News Day. I appreciate that. Chris, Ron, wish my cat well. He's at the vet getting fixed in his shots today. Chris, I wish your cat nothing but the absolute best. And, chances are, I think your cat's young. I'm pretty sure you said that. Your cat might be a little bit aloof for a little bit. And your cat might kind of need a little bit of a alone time. Your cat might kind of go behind the couch and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna chill," and that's okay. But your cat should be fine. And I wish your cat nothing but the absolute best. Let's see. What do I think about people that hunt? I think if you're hunting for food, that's your choice. If you're hunting for fun and you kill things for fun, I think you're sick. Let's see. Am I back on AP today? No, I am not. And I know nothing about the future of that show. I don't know what's going on with that show. Forcing a cat on a vegan diet is animal cruelty. Yes, it is. Yes, it most certainly is. And I don't know if you're referencing when that happened, but that did happen. There was a couple who forced their cat on a vegan diet. Or I guess forces were, but they made their cat have a vegan diet, and it almost killed the cat. So that's animal abuse. And those people, I think they face consequences for it, but as they should have. That was animal abuse. I would never... Ron, not everybody is vegan positive. Some must eat meat, otherwise you can get sick. I said that. I totally said that, Baringo. I don't know if you missed that. I literally just said that like a couple minutes ago. Cats need protein and protection. Yes, they do. I know many hunters who were more humane than most meat eaters who get their meat at the market. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's, I do think that veganism can be a good thing. I mean, I practice it myself. I don't really like how some can be a bit overly preachy about it. I don't really appreciate that, no matter what your perspective is. But honestly, the most, some people make it out like, well, if you're vegan, you're just saving the planet, and that's all you need to do. And that's not necessarily the case, because, I mean, there's still, you can be vegan and still have a ton of plastic waste, first of all. You can have a ton of plastic waste and be vegan. Second of all, I think the most, I think, zero waste person would be the person who hunts all of their own food and grows all of their own food. That is probably and I realize that person pretty much doesn't really exist. Well, they do, but it's a very, very rare thing. That is the most not wasteful person. The person who would, hunt their own food and grow their own food. Who would literally just get all of their own food. That would be the most, really, and I'm not able to be that person. I'm really not. So I do the best I can. I try to, minimize the amount of waste I make. I try to, I've enjoyed being vegan from a health standpoint. So I do my best to that. When I wasn't vegan, I was still very scrutinizing of where my proteins came from. I would make sure I only got grass-fed, locally sourced organic meats. There are some people who will tell you everybody who has a farm and raises cattle is part of some big conspiracy and they're being paid off by Monsanto. I don't believe that's true. I don't think that's true. I used to be part of a crop share in Tennessee. It was 3 farmers. They ran this natural organic farm. They raised cattle ethically. They were, free grazing or whatever. There are some people who believe that those 3 farmers are part of some big conspiracy and they're being paid off and they're all still part of factory farming anyway. I don't believe that to be true. So I just don't. That being said, factory farming is definitely a big problem for the environment. Absolutely. All right. So there you go. Tim says, a lot of vegans go vegan to wave it over their friend's head as a superiority complex. Kind of like most yoga people and Starbucks and the DNC and ... I'm sure some people do that. I'd like to think people have good intention. I really do. Being vegan also requires money. That's very true. It does. And I'm lucky that I live in a place where it's very accessible and it's actually very, very easy to do in Los Angeles. Because it's just not, my favorite snack is vegan sliced cheese. I freaking love it because I used to love sliced cheese, and I still do. I shouldn't say used to. I love it, but dairy, man, I would eat it and I would just feel like a pile of shit. I would just feel bloated and gross. With vegan sliced cheese, it tastes just as good in my opinion. I'm sure some people would agree with me. I think it tastes just as good. And I don't feel like shit afterwards. I can go to the gym right afterwards, and it costs the same as regular cheese in most cases. I mean, some is more expensive, but for the most part, it costs the same as regular cheese. Tofurkey with vegan mayo and mustard in a wrap is very good. You know, you also have to be really careful not to go too carb heavy. The brand that I like is Daiya, Daiya, Susan. And Dan also points out, in many ways, the cheapest food can be vegan. Beans, rice, vegetables. And, you know, I always encourage everyone, whether you're vegan or not, if you live in kind of a rural area, join a crop share. Join a crop share. A lot of times it's more affordable than people realize. When you break down what you get versus if you got all of that in a grocery store, it's a good deal. Lori says Pittsburgh is a food desert. It is not. Pittsburgh is a major city, unless you're referring to something else. What Pittsburgh does have, or a different Pittsburgh, I shouldn't assume you're referring to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but if you're referring to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that is not a food desert. The problem Pittsburgh has is there's a monopoly. There's pretty much a near monopoly on their food with Giant Eagle. So Giant Eagle, if you look at the cost of living index for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, everything is like pretty low except for food. It's way the fuck up here. It's because of Giant Eagle. So I encourage you, Laurie, if you're referring to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, join a crop share and fight back against those folks. There are some really good crop shares in Pittsburgh. I know this because I got my parents hooked on one. I say it like it's a drug. Like, I got my parents hooked. You need some crop share, Lori? I got some crop share. Let me just open my jacket here. I got some crop share for you. You want some crop share? I'm hip to the PA crop share. Anyway, Lori, drop me an email if you want more advice on that. Or not advice. You know what I mean. I can send you some info. So there you go. Cheese. I'm telling you, vegan cheese. I can't. Me and dairy and myself. You know, because I'll be honest, I've made some mistakes since going vegan. What I mean by this is sometimes I'll just straight up not realize things, and then I'll be in a situation where, well, I guess, because here's my thing. I think that wasting food is the biggest atrocity you can commit. You know what I mean? Like I think that wasting food you should not waste food. So if I'm in a situation where I order something at a restaurant, for instance, and it turns out it wasn't totally vegan like I thought it was, I'm probably just going to be like, well, if I waste this, that's even worse. So here's a for instance I'll use, because this is a minor thing, but so I ordered some churros at a Mexican restaurant. I was thinking I wanted some dessert, and I was thinking that churros, you know, they're probably a safe bet. So I ordered churros. What I didn't realize was that the churros came with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. I just straight up didn't know that. And it was not vegan ice cream. So I got that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna waste this. Like I'm not gonna waste food. So, you know, and plus, you know, ice cream's good. Like, I'm not gonna sit here. Although I will say this, vegan ice cream is freaking awesome. The first time you have real good vegan ice cream, like the really, really good vegan ice cream, because there's some that's just but the first time I had legit, really good vegan ice cream, I kind of thought, why haven't we been doing it this way the whole time? Like a coconut milk base for ice cream, it's just better that way. Like it's way better. And I'm not trying to pander here. Like, I'm just being serious. Like get some real, and I get it. I live in a place where that's real accessible to me. Not everybody is that lucky. I get it. But I'm telling you, when you try really good vegan ice cream for the first time, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Why? This is how we're supposed to do this. What the fuck are we doing? But anyway, so I didn't know it came with vanilla ice cream. And I'm like, well, I feel wrong wasting food. So I ate it. I'm like, well, I'm going to have to break it here. I'm going to eat vanilla ice cream. I did. I got sick as a dog. I got sick. Once you ditch dairy, you can't do it anymore. And I feel better not having dairy in my life. That's just me. But I feel better nixing dairy from my diet. So, but anyway, again, I'm talking my experience. That's all. And I'm talking my perspective. That's all. A lot of you guys do things differently, and that's totally fine. A lot of people don't really have the option to go vegan. I get that. I'm not trying to impose anything on anyone, but if you want to check out on the shoes, by all means, do it. I need solid ankle protection. Feta. I've had some good vegan feta. I really have. I've had some good vegan regatta. I've had some amazing vegan mozzarella. I've had have not found good vegan Parmesan yet. I have not found that. And that's something I would like to find. Agreed about the ice cream. I have no issue with soy meat. So you gotta be careful with soy. I limit my meat consumption to 2 to 3 times per week and limit other animal products like dairy. Cool. I can't drink milk. I can't drink milk either, 0. But cheese is fermented and just fine. I feel ya. I ditched milk a long, long time ago. And now, again, I haven't had much actual dairy. But after being vegan for a few months, when I went back to whenever I would have regular, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. So, yeah. What are you going to do? And I like cheese. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like it. Ron, if you drink breast milk, are you still vegan? Yes. How can an Italian not consume dairy? Some really good substitutes, Sean. If I made you, I'll tell you what. If I made you my vegan bolognese, if I made you my vegan eggplant parm, even my vegan chicken parm, I bet you wouldn't taste the difference. The chicken parm, you would know it's not actual chicken, but you know what I'm saying. Go raw carnivore, Ron. You know what? I don't have the discipline. Pasta is a food group to me. It is a food group. Sugar is my kryptonite, says B Green. I'm not a big sweets guy. Although I can guarantee you, I can guarantee you, I'm going to have cannoli in my life. Life's too short not to have cannoli in it, and those are technically not vegan. So, eggs for life. I know some vegans that do make the exception for eggs. Graham Elwood refers to that as being a pro-choice vegan, which is a funny joke. That's his joke, not mine. So shout out to Graham Elwood. All right, guys, we've babbled on. We got to go. I got to run. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being part of this. That was a weird impromptu diet chat. But, Balthazar, I tried vegan for a week. They taste like pork. Thank you very much, Balthazar. You guys are awesome. Tour day's coming up. Indianapolis, get your tickets now for May 1st. Salt Lake City and Boise. Guys, there might be a scheduling conflict. So if you want to attend that show, you got to get your tickets now. Salt Lake City, Boise. If you want to go to that show, get your tickets now. Don't wait. Because otherwise, we might not be coming. East Coast, we're definitely coming. Those dates are locked in and solid. But East Coast, we can't wait to see you. And Grandma Wood and I are going to see you in June. So you know the drill there. New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Haven, Connecticut. Get your tickets now. RonPagone.com for all those tickets. New Mexico, we're working on. And July 27th, we're going to be in Vegas, baby. Get your tickets now. RonPagone.com. Get your tickets now. Yeah, they're all available. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. I want to do more guests. I want to do more streams. We had an awesome guest yesterday. We had Savage Joy from Savage Joy over on Real Progressive. She was awesome. I want to do more guests. I want to do more streams. I do need some support for that to happen. So if you have an extra $1 a month, want to throw it my way, please do. You get a bunch of exclusive content and all kinds of fun perks. If not, I totally get it. Please like and share these videos. Please let the ads play through. No, don't just do that for me. Do that for all the YouTubers you like to support because it helps us and it kind of sustains what we do here. So please do that for all the YouTubers you support. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. You know the drill. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated news show. The news has been gotten. That doesn't even make sense. Peace.